So the lymph nodes are where the lymph, the fluid that's taken back up by the lymphatic capillaries, is filtered. So we have the lymph nodes is where we have filtering of the lymph. One thing that is found in your lymph nodes is macrophages. So macrophages are actually part of our innate immune system, and they are able to detect foreign cells and debris and break it down. And so oftentimes when we are sick, these lymph nodes will actually swell because the macrophages divide and then the lymph nodes will swell. And so when we talk about like swollen glands, we're actually talking about swollen lymph nodes, and the lymph nodes are actually technically not a gland. So the other thing that we have in these lymph nodes are B lymphocytes. And these are really important in the adaptive immune response. So being able to detect foreign antigens and then producing antibodies specific to those antigens. And then we also have T lymphocytes, and these are the lymphocytes that go out and attack things that have these foreign antigens on them. So these are some things that are in our lymph nodes. If we look at where these lymph nodes reside, we have them in the neck region, right? So when we get sick, our lymph nodes might swell. If you've ever been really sick, you might get swelling of the lymph nodes in your axillary region, in your armpit region, and also in the inguinal or the groin region can be a source of problem if you get really sick. So one of the really interesting things about the lymphatic capillaries and their systems is that you'll notice that they have them coming up into the brain. And it was thought that the lymphatic system actually didn't go into the brain. And so for many years, they said that there was no lymphatic system in the brain. But now with better techniques of observing these small structures, they've actually rewritten the textbooks. And so the lymphatic tissue does extend into the brain. You'll also notice here that this is kind of a strangely colored diagram in that you have red on one side and green on the other. So the lymphatic system tends or is asymmetric, which means it's not identical on one side versus the other. And so you'll notice here that this is a good diagram to reiterate this on. So this is, if I'm looking at it, this is my right side, but it is actually that person's left side. So this is my left. And then this would be my right. Even though when I'm looking at it on a screen, it is backwards. And so notice that the left side transports all of the lymph from the lower limbs. And the right side just does it from the right head and the right arm. So there is some asymmetry in the lymphatic system. You'll also notice that there's this structure right here, this enlargement, this cisterna chyli, and that is an important place in the body in the lymphatic tissue because it, let me get this right, cisterna. Let me make sure that I'm saying this right. I was right. Okay, so this actually drains the lymphatic tissue from the intestine. And we're going to talk about that when we get to the digestive system, because another function of the lymphatic system is it actually transports fats. So fats that are absorbed as a nutrient across your small intestine actually get picked up by that cistern and transferred to the lymphatic system and goes through this cisterna chyli, which is why it's right near where the small intestine is located.